So can I do some stories for you? I'd like to. It's going to be story time. I'd like to do two narrative poems that are part of my interest in how nature, and Jeff's poem was so beautiful to begin, how nature's creatures, its birds, its gardens, how it touches on people at certain points and very deeply when they're having hard lives and in hard times. And so I'd like to do this is part of a long series that I've written as in a child's voice, mine, and it's part of a long series about my family. And you know, communication styles start early, so in the family. But the first one is called More Than One Thing, and for this poem you need to know that about the Birdman of Alcatraz. And he was a very vicious, brutal criminal and murderer. And he was a lifer who was constantly in solitary in prison because he was so vicious. But he became a bird scientist, and in this hard scene, they gave him a whole large cell where he could live and have these birds in his laboratory. And so there was a film that's referred to in this poem called The Birdman of Alcatraz.
Burt Lancaster, right?
Yeah, Burt Lancaster in the 50s. Mm-hmm. It's movie time. The fun starts up again every time Dad gets fired for lying his way into a job. Apparently, this last time he was a life insurance salesman or maybe an engineer. They sprung me, I'm a free man, Dad cheers to appear happy. He and I are off to the movies, sneaking me through side doors into early shows where he jots down cool lines in the dark to rehearse later. He's such a character. Like on the waterfront, when Marlon Brando says, "Why'd you make me throw the fight, Charlie? I could have been something. I could have had class. But Charlie, I'm just a bum on a one-way ticket to Palookaville." Or this prisoner Gomez snarls to the Birdman of Alcatraz, "My ex-girlfriend from Brooklyn, she had a voice like spoiled fruit in a gutter. So I had to do her in. And I might do you too. You and your sissy birds, them canaries," which Dad practices over and over until you'd think he was a New York convict. Birdman's our favorite bad guy. Dad's also crazy about the nice lady who falls hard for him, even if he's a terrible criminal and a lifer in the pen. But me, I love when Birdman wangles a microscope to study blood, the strange blood of his birds. He stays away from those nasty cons who creep around stabbing each other in the yard. So guess what? Dad shows up with my very own black shiny scope in a real wooden box with neat glass slides like doctors have. And the brass latch Mom flicks open trying to appear impressed. Later she turns rough in what Dad calls her sheriffs in town tone, shooting off bullets. Here we are on the skids. I'm dragging around a sale bins for Wonder Bread and old lettuce. While you're in the movies, you expose a 10-year-old to murderers, and who knows what you hocked this time for a microscope so she can see blood? Because Dad pricks his finger just for me to put on my slides. Mom doesn't get it, how Birdman softened after he saved a broken sparrow's life. Even got lovely canaries in his cell. He loved them so much, whole flocks sang in their cages until they got sick. Sure, the Birdman did kill 2 men while he was young, but now he's so tender, trying to heal his birds, to find the secret, mysterious illness in their blood. Dad whispers to Mom, "Honey, a loser can become a lover. A man can be more than one thing." Well then, Tom, I guess one day you'll stop scamming everybody and rescue us canaries. I'm at my microscope. I peer at the red molecules, swirling, full of secrets, darkening on the brightly lit glass. Later, when I wash off and dry the slides carefully with a soft towel to place them in their slots, I feel very, very calm. You see, just like in prison, you can ignore stuff happening around you because you're so busy staring at fresh blood. Well, you can see, I don't know if you can tell from that, but my father could lose a job as easily and naturally as hens lay eggs. And so often we only stayed in a town for a few months and sometimes making a fast getaway. But when we landed in Sauk City, well, you'll see in this poem called How I Got to Plant. Well, who'd believe we're here for a second summer, Mom says in her wandering gypsy voice. Let's take a chance on a Sauk City garden. Maybe we'll catch a break and make it to harvest like a real home. Right, Tom? Well, honey, oh, sure. Dad gets this glum look after Mom fires off questions. But lickety-split, she hurries me to Johnson's hardware store where I start to pick out my own trowel, dark green with a neat wooden handle, before Mr. Johnson sneers. Your husband's some charmer, Mrs. Loveridge, but I'm not a handout even for a looker like you or your kid. So no more credit till he pays up whatever his story. Mister, you got a big mouth, Mom snaps. I appear slowly from the aisles of forbidden goods as Mom winds up. You've got a lot of nerve in front of a child, you. Meaty, I chime in, trying to leave my best bite marks. We stomp over to St. Jesus Catholic Charity basement, where Mom grabs a dinged-up shovel, flimsy straw hat, and a statue of St. Francis of Assisi. And a bum who smells like old eggs rasps, St. Francis, our protector. Lepers, birds, and poor people. He's just doing a hell of a great job. Smudging my cheek with his yellow fingers, and Mom whips him the evil eye, and we're gone. Cheer up, honey. I know it's a sad place, but we own these things now. No repo thugs will take them back. St. Francis and the old shovel put a sigh in Dad's eyes. Oh, another stop at St. Jesus' junk. Mom starts up. And it won't be the last time, Tom. We're drowning here. And Dad plunges in. Well, okay, let's go dig. Just to keep us gardeners safe, I better talk to that cowboy neighbor of ours, Jack Peebles. Mr. Peebles, he shoots rabbits from his bedroom upstairs window. Sometimes they wind up in our yard, wide-eyed, stiff in the weeds, including my kitten, Shorty, he picked off by mistake. Peebles will shoot anything with that rifle that moves. Wasn't a bit sorry about Shorty. That sweet kitten looked no more like a rabbit than Dumbo. Well, these days, Tom, that wouldn't be such a bad way to go. Just drop dead gardening. Now comes Dad's misery look. Oh, now, honey. Sometimes I wonder if he gets when Mom's teasing. And she starts tearing up the grass like there's no tomorrow, but later when Dad had softened the dirt, all of a sudden, the two of them folded, and I got to plant. Dreamy Technicolor packets of corn, green beans, and flowers I'd hid in my pockets at that creep Johnson's hardware store. But I swore, Mom, honest, they're Catholic freebies from St. Jesus. You see what happened and why they let me plant. Dad had been turning over the earth, digging so gently, tenderly, lifting shovels full of soil, wriggling with terrified earthworms. Mom grabbed the handle. You're way too slow, Tom. He won't let go. We will not hack up these earthworms into pieces, honey. What a nightmare. They have rights. They need a home, too. Imagine if a sharp blade suddenly came after you. Which somehow made Mom break down in tears. Dad drops the shovel to reach out to her. Mom grasps him tight. Straw hat flies off her bare arms, her light summer dress streaked with soil, whispering, "Oh, Tom, oh, Tom, oh, Tom." They looked so desperately good together. I had to close my eyes, like when you try hard not to wake up so you can hold on tight to a great dream. Thank you very much, and sweet dreams.